Hello. Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Kalefa. And as you know, this is a feel good show where we're going to make sure that we all leave here today feeling good about feeling good. And before we start, I'm going to do a little dedication. I'm just going to ask the higher intelligence to be present with us today, to be with us in our class, to make sure that the energy is right, to send out the right energy to all of you who are watching and all of you who will be watching in the future, and hope that I'm sure actually that you're going to truly enjoy this new recipe that I have for you today. And the structure of the program is as per usual. We start with a recipe, which is going to be, of course, the chocolate, because we're having a chocolate season right now. And once I've done the recipe, which is very, very basic, very, very simple, but it's absolutely delicious and nutritious and da. So I'm going to talk to you about some of these wonderful ingredients that are in there. Last week we were fascinated by the chocolate, I'm sure. And today we're going to talk about some of those ingredients that we're still going to have in there. Um, and I have a special guest with me today. Her name is Michelle Cunningham, and she's a past, well, I say past, but she'll explain it to you. She'll tell you when she comes on about herself. She's a past client, but I've known her now for some years. She'll tell you how long because I can't remember. But it's been a long and interesting relationship. So she'll tell you when I introduce her, and we're looking forward to that, I'm sure. So today, like I said, we're going to begin with another super, super, super chocolate recipe. Um, and then we're going to sit down with our Nyam and Labrish session. And then that we're going to lead out with our weekly meditation, which is going to be a short session. So let me start by showing you the ingredients for the recipe. And before I start as well, I'd like to remind you that you can go to Instagram to the link in bio, and there you will find links to my ebooks, the super drinks and the super shakes ebooks, and soon to be super chocolates ebooks there as well. So you can go and purchase the ebooks, which are extremely reasonably priced. And you can also go to, from there, you can also click on the page to go to my Sickness to Success page, which will give you more information about what I do and also introduce you to the programs that I run. And for those of you who were not listening to this last week, my background, a little bit about my background, I'm Dr. Khalifa, and I am a PhD doctor in holistic health, nutrition, along with transformational training and quite a lot of other bits and pieces that I've trained in my very short life. um, and all of my knowledge and experience I've culminated into three main programs. One is a basic program to introduce you to the idea of holistic healing and health, and the other two programs are more high level programs that will help you to reverse degenerative diseases such as diabetes, arthritis, cancer, heart problems, prostate issues, etc., etc. And you'll find more information about that on my Sickness to Success website. Um, Today and during this program on a weekly basis, we're going to be looking at some of the most nutritious ways to eat, the recipes, and I've got a secret drink which I'm putting together, which is going to be solely for this feel good show, and you'll be able to purchase it online as well. It's going to be really, really lovely, so we can actually have that in our Nyam and Labrish session, where we sit down to eat what we've made Unfortunately, last week we couldn't eat the chocolate because we had to put it in the freezer for a while to harden. This week is going to be the same, but in future you'll be able to. I would suggest buy one or both ebooks, and then you can make a drink because I'm going to be having coconut jelly today. So you can make a drink and we can uh, drink and lavish. And then when we get to a certain stage where you've made some of the chocolate, you can save some for our Nyam and Lavish session. So we can Nyam Lavish and drink our drink and just look at the subject of the day. I will introduce you to the subject of the day a bit later on. So, Michelle, could you introduce yourself for me to everyone listening? And I'm just going to hand over to you now. I'm going to stop talking and hand over to you.
Hi everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world at this time, whenever you're listening. I am Michelle Clement. It's now Clement. And Practically, what do I do for myself? I am a public speaker. I'm pretty much in the arts. I love to serve. I love working with people. I am passionate about health and well-being, and simply because of my own journey, I was really in a bad place before I met Dr. Senna. When I met Dr. Senna, I met her in 2017, Dr. Senna. So
Was
we,
it 17?
yes,
Wow. Ooh, it's a
yes,
while now.
yes, it is a while. So we have been working together since 2017, and I must say the relationship with myself and Dr. Senna, it has evolved. It has taught me how to appreciate life more, how to appreciate people more, how to appreciate my own health, my own self, life, nature, value the basic things that the things we took for granted, like a simple jelly coconut, like what Dr. Seda will be having today. How vital these simple things are in keeping us alive, in keeping us well, and that life is a lot more simpler than we think it is. So, you know, it's just a beautiful place to be right now in my journey. And the journey continues as I continue to work with Dr. Senna, because the journey of healing, for what I have realized, it's a lifelong process, in terms of different areas that we have to deal with, because it's not just about the food, it's about the mind, it's about the body, it's about the spirit. And that, to me, from my personal experience, has been a daily journey. So yeah, that's about it, Dr. Senna.
Thank you so much for that. And it sounds like we're going to be hooked up for life, Michelle.
It seems that way. It does seem that way. A lifelong friendship, partnership.
But you know, it's a good thing because I think um, people need to change the mindset about health. You know, health is not something you just do now and then you forget about it and carry on like you were before. And I think it's good that you mentioned that it's a lifelong journey. As long as you're alive, you need to be paying attention to your health and to maintaining your health in optimum condition because you cannot function optimally unless you're in optimum health. So, and you, one of the things about the program as well is that it teaches you to know your body more and to be able to respond to your body when you know that something is amiss, when it's not in equilibrium, when it's not balanced. And as soon as you, the great thing about being in health is that as soon as you fall out of balance, you recognize it immediately. Whereas when you're not in good health, you find you don't know when it's happening. And so it deteriorates and continues to deteriorate till it comes to the point of pain, which is when most people notice it when they're in pain. And by
Yes.
the time they're in pain, it's already kind of late. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and absolutely. And pain is not just a physical thing. You got your emotional pain and psychological pain. So when you're feeling pain, it's usually that you're out of equilibrium and you're completely out of balance by then. So it's about doing what you're doing, Michelle, and taking it on board and actually practicing it on a day-to-day basis. And you're going into a profession which is directed at health as well. I'll
Yeah.
also mention, Michelle, that you were a teacher, weren't you?
Oh,
When,
yes. Yes, I
yes, when I
taught.
met you.
Yes, I taught for 15 years. And that journey really, it was very interesting. It was a beautiful job. I love the students. I love the fact that I was able to be creative, but on the other hand, it was stressful in some ways for me based on my body, based on how I'm made up. I guess for some persons it may not be a big deal, but for me it was really a huge deal because talking consistently, I had high blood pressure when I met you. It was really it was
Yeah.
ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And so talking consistently and doing other things outside of just talking in the classroom, preparing lesson plans, just the numerous things and being a mother and going through other life events, everything came together and it really didn't make me feel good at all. To say the feel good, sure, it wasn't a good vibe at times. And so, I had to say goodbye to teaching in 2020, I think it was in December, I think.
Yes, I
Yes.
remember that time.
Yes, I had to really, it took a lot, but I had to pen my letter of resignation and to decide to find myself for outside of teaching, outside of the career. I wanted to explore Michelle. Who am I spiritually? Who am I in terms of, what does it mean to be Michelle? What do I put in my mouth? What do I put in my body? Spiritually, what does that mean in terms of do I go to church? So it was a life thing. My mind, what were
Mm.
the traumas that were affecting me too, which was a part of the whole healing process. So leaving teaching spiraled me into a deeper place where I was able to explore and find myself more and to come more into who I am and still becoming today.
Yes. It was literally a life changing, totally life changing period for you, really, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes. Yes, because it's leaving, especially financially. I think that was where it's a leap of faith because I left teaching with nothing, with no plan B. I was really working on starting my business, but it did not materialize, could not materialize because of the environment. So I took a leap of faith with people. Don't try this. You're listening. Don't
Yes,
try
you
this.
were very brave.
But honestly, I had stuff, loans and things, I obligations, but I had to really take that leap. It was a leap.
Yes, you definitely had to at that point. Because I think you realized that it was a matter of life or death in a way, really, wasn't it? You
Oh
were
yeah.
literally dying with not necessarily physical death, and but you were your whole, like you say, your whole self, your being, and you had to do something at that point, something drastic, and you were very, very brave. I really do commend you for taking the step that you did at the time.
Yes, indeed. And I must say that it worked out. I'm a person of faith and I respect different religions, different, backgrounds and stuff like that. And I will say I credit my spirituality to God, as it were, for me. And because of the faith that I took, I was spiraled into what I am doing now, joining the team that I am, being able to do public speaking, being gifted mentorship. So, God, there is always, when you make an opening, God usually fills that gap. It may not be when we expect it, but eventually, if we trust the process, if we learn the lessons of our healing journey, we will see that everything is really coming together beautifully.
Yes, it's sort of like it's a period of faith building, really, isn't it?
Yes,
Big,
it is.
especially if you take a leap like that, you have to build your faith.
Yes,
It's
it
either
is.
you go that way in faith or you go the other way, which is not an option.
Yes, yes. And to put it even within the context of food and what we eat and stuff like that, I literally, this is live, but I literally, there are things that I could not afford at the time based on what I know should be going inside my body. And so, even there, it took a level of consciousness and it took a lot of strength not to even criticize myself too when I stuffed stuff down my stomach that I know it wasn't things like meat that I know definitely if I put that in, it's I'm done for really because I know myself. But like simple things like dairy stuff that really was not supposed to go in, things like those I had to process for a year to get myself back on track. And even now, I am getting back on track in terms of going back to do my cleansing, detox, and get myself 100 or at least 90% as to where I'm coming from, Dr. Senna. So it is a journey of faith, and it is important for us to realize that life is not about being perfect, and that
Exactly.
there will be moments in our healing journey that if you want to call them healing crisis, whatever it is, that we may take some step back. The important thing is to know how far back you will go and what will cost you your life. I knew for me,
Mm.
it was a no-no. There's some things that I know no matter what, I would rather drink water and not put it in my system. But where things were really necessary, I'm like, God, this is faith. I'm praying. Give me the opportunity to detox myself again. So we have to give ourselves some amount of grace within the journey as well.
Brilliant. But the thing is, once you have the knowledge, you can't undo it. So when you do step off the sideways, you know in the back of your mind that, it's possible that something is going to happen that you don't want to happen. And that's the great thing about having that knowledge and, knowing that, okay, so I've sort of gone sideways a bit, but I can do this or I can do that to bring myself back
Yes,
to.
and this is where Dr. Senna, I'm interjecting a bit, forgive me, but to say that I give credit to what I learned in terms of when I did the program with you for those months, because it's that base knowledge, and this is not a paid advertisement, guys, but it's reality that because I had the knowledge of food combination, I had the knowledge of what toxicity is. I got the knowledge as to certain elements of the program that you would teach us about certain foods and the preservatives and stuff. So even when I knew that I had to step out a bit, I knew how far to step because I already had that base knowledge that I received from the training that I got from you. And I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you because you never gave up and you took a road that many people would not be bold enough to take. But you never gave up. You didn't go back. You kept going and you had that faith. You had a very strong faith that you could actually reach where you wanted to reach because you know you could not continue in the life that you had. And I
No,
really do commend you for that.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Mm. So we'll continue to chat as we go through the program, Michelle. Just
Definitely.
join in whenever you feel like joining in. And I know there are people listening because they've just sent me WhatsApp, but there actually is a chat box, but I can't see it. So if you whoever is logged in and if you see the chat box, please go ahead and send me messages through that if you want to. And like you've just done, you could send me some WhatsApp messages if you don't see the chat box. All right. So, Michelle, you and I are going to do some food preparation now. We're not doing any combinations today. We're just going to do some chocolate.
Awesome, awesome.
All right. So, let me just wash my hand a little and then I'm going to tell you what these ingredients are here. The coconuts I'm not using today, but because we were talking so much about coconuts and the value of it, I have a couple of coconut jellies here for those people who are not familiar with the coconut jelly. But I'm going to go over a little bit about the chocolate that we did last week, just some of the ingredients. And I'm going to talk about the other ingredients that we're putting in today. And it's great because it's the chocolate, these chocolate recipes can be really quick. The only thing that takes the time is putting it in the fridge, in the freezer to harden. So let me wash my hands and move my chair, and then we can start the food preparation. Michelle, you can chat while I'm doing this. So, um,
Okay, yes, I'm hoping technology will keep up with me. I see my battery's like,
hmm?
I'm hoping technology will keep up with me. Don't do this
Oh
anymore.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
my
Well, if any,
battery, yeah.
yeah, I know you're outside at the moment, and we can sort of hear the wind blowing in
Yeah,
the
the wind is
background.
blowing and then the battery.
Yeah,
So I'll be, if you see me trip out, it's because of technology. But other than that,
yes,
that's fine.
yes. But at the moment, it's fine. Even with the wind in the background, you're still clear. So don't worry about it. Let's not think on it that way. Let's think it's going to
Yes,
go
we won't.
really
We won't.
smoothly. Yes.
Yes, we won't. But
Okay, so um, I'm making another chocolate recipe. Last week we made sexy chocolate delight. And there was a reason for that because we are talking about the subject we're talking about revolves around that. And we are going to do lots and lots of chocolate recipes in having our Nyam and Labrish sessions. And what I ask you to do as well, send me your email. If you go to the LinkedIn bio, you can send me your link in bio on Instagram. You can send me your email, or you can send me your email by WhatsApp or the chat here, and I can send you the recipe, the ingredients in advance. So you're going to do the recipes along with me. It's not like class, Michelle, where I'm up there doing all the work and you all eat.
exactly. We watch and eat.
Now it's a turnaround. So you're going to be from next week, hopefully, you're going to be doing the recipes with me as I do it. And then you save some of that recipe, if possible, for the next week in our labrish section. So
Okay.
you can send me emails and I will send you by email next week's recipe so you can get everything together before the show. All right. So last week was our delight, our sexy chocolate delight. I was gonna show you a video of me actually picking the chocolate off the tree and tasting the membrane on it and everything, but that'll have to wait till next week because the video was too long and I didn't have time to cut it down. It's too long for the software. So next week you'll see that, and I've also fermented it and put it out in the sun and all of that. So I can show you all of that process, right up to the point where we make the chocolate like we used to when we were children. My grandmother, the process that my grandmother used to bring the chocolate to the point where we can actually use it for chocolate tea and all of that. So I'm going to take you through that process. So we're looking forward to some exciting times. The things that we have to use to get excited.
I
Okay,
would
so
love that
let's.
though. That should be that should be awesome. I might
Yeah,
check it
it's.
now.
I'm. Yeah, I thought you'd like it actually because it's gonna be very interesting, and we're gonna do work around a lot of other things like that as well. So it's gonna be great. All right. So our ingredients today I've got a lime here, and the recipe calls for lime or lemon, and I've got about a half a teaspoon of lime juice in there, so I can put the lime away. And I've got some Himalayan salt, pink Himalayan salt. Personally, like I said last week, I prefer the Celtic sea salt. It seems to, I don't know about you, Michelle, but do you find that the Celtic has a kind of nicer taste than
Yes,
the,
yes, it does have it has
yeah, it
this
tends
little
to,
pink thing which is different from the Himalayan salt.
yes,
Really want that little jazzy vibe. I get it from that.
absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Yes, it gives that little. oomph to the food. But
Yes.
I couldn't find any, so I'm with the. I should have next week because I'm going to town. But I have the Himalayan today, and you just need a pinch of Himalayan for this recipe. And I'm putting some ground cinnamon in this week. Cinnamon is marvelous for mixing with chocolate, and cinnamon also helps to reduce belly fat. So it's a great thing if you're getting that little punch and you want to get rid of it. Use lots of cinnamon in your recipes. So let me put these in the bowls as I'm speaking. And then the next thing I'm going to introduce is a chocolate. And I've got 3/4 cup of chocolate here. And this is pure. Michelle, you know all this, but you still look. This is, if you can see it there, this is pure cocoa, raw cocoa powder, organic, no genetically modifications in it. Um, Raw, organic, um, no dairy, no gluten, none of that. It's just pure cocoa. So I've got 3/4 cups there, which I'm putting in a bowl. I would normally put all of this in my Vitamix, but the Vitamix is a bit tired. It's not coming on continuously. So I'm just going to use the hand mixer today. And I've got here, I think I put 4 tablespoons of agave in there to sweeten it. And sweetening is something you do to your own taste. This is raw, organic blue agave. And this is a good sweetener to use because um, oh, thank you, Dahlia. I saw your WhatsApp there. Thank you for watching and thank you for liking the show. Don't forget to like my YouTube as well, to subscribe, they call it. Yes. um Raw organic blue agave. And this is great because if you have things like diabetes, it's actually low glycemic, so it won't cause your sugar to rise. So then we have here some lecithin, and this is sunflower. This is sunflower lecithin. Um, And the reason I've used that is because there are people who actually have some concerns about the soya lecithin, because it's usually soya lecithin. And some people have concerns about soya. So I've switched to the sunflower lecithin, get the pure powder. And lecithin has choline in it, which is excellent for brain, for the support of the brain. And I have here your coconut oil. This is simply natural, pure coconut oil, 100% coconut oil. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the coconut today as well. And I put two, 2 cups in there, but I don't think we're 2 3/4 cups. I don't think we're going to need that. And you can add cocoa butter to it as well to make it firmer when it's complete. But I couldn't find any cocoa butter up here either, so I have to go to Kingston. But it will still work with just the pure coconut oil. And our pièce de résistance, which is our super ingredient for this week. Last week we had maca as our added ingredient, and this week we have spirulina. And many of you will have heard of spirulina. It's a blue-green algae which grows in water, and you find a lot of this in the sea. This kind of the blue-green algae, and spirulina is great because it actually has so many benefits. And one of the main benefits that I like about it is the fact that it prevents radiation in the body. But it has lots and lots and lots of other benefits as well. Uh, sometimes I don't really want to go through the whole of them, but um, again, many of these super foods were revered by the ancients, so they had knowledge well beyond what we know now. Um, and they in Africa and the Mayans and um, uh, the other name is gone, but the Mayans, the ancient Africans, they considered it one of the most nutritious foods on the planet. It protects your muscles and your bones from loss. It builds immunity in the body. It protects you from toxins, and like I said, protects you from radiation. And there's not a lot of products out there that actually have that quality to protect you from radiation. It's very, very high in vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, etc. So it's a great one to have. And of course, it has a high level of chlorophyll. You can see how dark the green is. Yes, high level of chlorophyll. And as you know, Michelle, chlorophyll is similar to is it the hemoglobin or the plasma? Well, one of them. Maybe you can remember.
I don't.
I'm putting you on the spot now.
I know. Tester.
um, were you listening in class?
Tester. Was she listening?
But I will talk to you about that at another time. The benefits of having the chlorophyll, the high level of chlorophyll in the blood. Um, and today I'm going to put the agave in, but yeah, I'm going to put all of this in because the only thing I don't like about the spirulina is the taste. It has a very, very strange taste, a peculiar taste that it doesn't sit with me. So I have to put more sweetener in mine. But once you get used to it, you can decide how much sweetener you put in. And I'm going to start mixing in the coconut oil. Normally, I just give it a quick buzz on the Vitamix, but because the Vitamix it's been sitting around for 3 years, really without being used. So I guess it just needs a bit of TLC.
My
So,
battery is saying 10%.
hmm?
My battery is saying 10%. It's gone down really quickly. I'm going to see if
Okay.
I'm logging out a bit and see if I can connect something to get some charge and get back.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll see you when you come back, and I'll be able to just click you back in again.
That's right.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to just use the hand mixer. You can see there the consistency. I'm going to smooth it out a bit more. Use the hand mixer and smooth it out. And I have to go to this side of the room and turn my back on you because the plug for the blender is on this side. So just bear with me a minute. Okay, so there you are. We have a nice smooth consistency there. And I'm going to just put it in the mold. I've got one of these silicone molds that you do chocolate in, and they're very good because you don't have to literally dig the chocolate out of the container once it's set in the fridge. And I forgot to put that little bit of lime juice in. And I also this week I'm going to put some raisins in. Um, it's definitely not rum raisins soaked in rum. It's just plain raisins. Believe me. Okay, so I'm going to mix in the raisins, and I'm going to now just fill up as many of these. You can always double the recipe, or you can cut it in half. It just depends on what you want. So you can make double, triple, or quadruple, whatever amount you want. You just double up the recipe and do the same thing. Okay, so I'm putting it in the chocolate holders, and I'm going to put this in the fridge and let it in the freezer. Actually, I'm going to put it in the freezer and let it harden. And then once it's hardened, I'm going to transfer it to the fridge, and it will go pretty hard, you know. So, but here in the where I am, it's better that it is hard rather than soft. So there we go. And if you have cocoa butter in it, it will be even harder than this will be. Yeah. So there we go. Next week I'll try my best, my very best, to not eat all of them. Last week I was going to save some to show you, but unfortunately I couldn't stay away from the fridge. So I'm hoping that this week I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to put this in the freezer now, just like that, and leave that there just until it goes hard. Okay, so that's our recipe for today. Let me just talk to you a little bit more about the ingredients. I talked to you about the spirulina, and I talked to you last week about the chocolate. And chocolate is a fantastic, it's spiritual, it's sexual, it's sensual. There's so much to chocolate that we're not aware of, but it has to be obviously the pure chocolate. And it heals on all levels: physical, psychological, spiritual, um, metaphysical. It heals on all these different levels. So chocolate is a beautiful thing to have in your life, and there's so many variations that we can actually use it for. So let me just get my stool back, and I'll have a little chat with you before we move into our Nyaman Labrish session. I don't know if I mentioned maca last week. Don't know if I mentioned the maca. Um, Let me mute Michelle. Are you back, Michelle? I can see you there. Oh, you're muted. Yeah, you're muted. You're muted. Muted. Unmute yourself. Unmute. I can see your mouth moving. Oh, let me send her a WhatsApp because she doesn't realize she's on mute.
I
Just a
heard
second.
you.
Oh, okay. Great. Welcome back.
Yeah,
I've just
yes,
put the
yes.
chocolate
We're
in the
back.
freezer. But of course, you didn't miss anything because you've seen all of the food preparations. So, well, at least most of the ones the basic ones that we did then.
Right,
So it's just that mixing everything, literally mixing everything together and putting it in the freezer. These ones
right.
are, but we're going to get a little more complicated later on. But for now, we just want the simple stuff because we want to sit and labrish and yam. So chocolate, we talked about chocolate last week, and like I said, it has lots of esoteric properties, and the ancients valued it so much that they used it as currency. In the Aztecs, and they actually used it as currency, and they used to, the women would give it to their the women would give it to the male when they were getting married. Instead of a dowry, they would give chocolate beans to the groom. um, I still don't know why women have to pay men to take them. So, but it's just one of those things, I guess. We can talk about that another time. Why the bride's family have to pay for the man to take the woman? You know, come on, he's supposed to love her. But let's not get political. Okay, so it was considered food for the heart, and it has so many really high properties. Like I said, it heals on all different levels. And maca is also a sexual enhancer. It enhances the sex drive, and it's known as the Mayan Viagra. So if you're feeling a little low on that side, you can. You're muted again.
Oh
You're
yeah,
mute.
because of the breeze. I'm here.
Okay, all
Yes.
right.
Hope
You,
you
I
can
can
hear me
hear.
clearly.
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mayan Viagra. It boosts energy, so it lifts your energies up just like the coconut. It's highly nutritious, increases fertility in men, and helps to relieve the menopause symptoms if you get menopause. But if you've been through my program and you've done it successfully and you're living the life you're supposed to, you will not get menopause symptoms. You will just notice one day that you've changed.
Wow.
And
I
like
want that to be the
chocolate.
next 30 years.
Hmm?
I'm hoping that's in the next 30 years for me.
Yes, but then again, if you're not going to get those awful symptoms, then it really doesn't matter unless you're planning to have more children.
Yeah, I want to have more children, definitely.
Oh, okay. Well, let's put it off for a
Yes.
while then.
Yes.
I actually encouraged mine to happen because I had gotten to that stage. I knew I didn't want any more children. I wasn't going to have any more children, and I wanted it to come and just I didn't have to deal with the monthly thing anymore. Even
Yes.
though I'd gotten over the period in your teenage years when I didn't have the knowledge. I used to get the pain and the crazy thing going on psychologically.
Hmm.
But once you change your lifestyle, you don't experience any of that. It's not, a lot of people think it's natural to have menopause symptoms when you go through the change. But if you're in good health, you don't get those symptoms. This is why some people will tell you, I didn't get any symptoms. I just noticed that after a couple of months, I thought to myself, when was the last time that happened? And they realized that they'd gone through menopause, and that's how it was for me. So there's so many reasons, there's on so many levels why you need to live a healthy lifestyle. The body does not just get sick like that when you're living healthy. You can, Michelle, you can, I don't have to
Yeah, it's true. It's
convince you
true.
for that. Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Because even
so
my cycle and stuff like that, I literally have to be watching the calendar. Prior to the program, I knew, but now I have to really be prepared because I don't feel those symptoms of pains or cramps, that stuff, unless I
right.
eat something that I'm not supposed to. But once I am eating, I'm maintaining that lifestyle. It's pretty much smooth sailing mostly.
Yes, yes. And this is what encourages you. Once you've been through it, you find that it encourages you to go back and stay on track because you don't experience those things. You don't have that pain. And some people have 2, 3 weeks of menopausal symptoms of
Period.
PMT. And that's most of your life when you think about it. When you have 1 or 2 weeks in a month where you're just going through all that discomfort, it's not a nice thing. So once you realize that it's not necessary, if you live the way you really ought to, if it's not necessary, then why would you put yourself back in that position?
True.
And your body also tells you what you need. It's like when you're pregnant, you get cravings for certain things that your body requires. That's why pregnant women are known to eat strange things. But the body starts to crave what it desires to build itself up so that it can feed the baby, because the baby is actually feeding off of the mother. So you have to be twice as healthy, really.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
during the period, during the monthly period, you are losing a lot of blood. You're losing blood that you wouldn't normally be losing. And so, what I used to find when I was in my teens and that, I used to get terrible cravings for chocolate. Just chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. And I would go out and buy the stuff in the shop, a whole big bag of this stuff, and sit down and just stuff myself with it. But I
Yeah.
wasn't getting any satisfaction because it wasn't the real chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the real thing. So my body was lacking what real pure chocolate has in it. But because I wasn't getting the real one, I wasn't relieving those symptoms.
Right.
And that's one of the great things about chocolate as well. I mean, that's why the Mayans called it the heart's blood.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Brilliant. I don't know if you had symptoms like that when you were going through your
Oh yes.
period.
Oh yes. Chocolate. That was one of the things.
Mm.
I guess that's why it's the love of my life right now. Because I
Hmm.
would eat chocolate so much that my face would break out literally. If I would
Mm.
just, especially at that time, I wouldn't eat anything else other than a Snicker bar. I had to have
Mm.
Snickers, and I think this one O Henry or something like that. I just
Mm.
had to have my chocolate back then. And even now I still crave it a bit during the cycle, but I do
Yes.
the healthy alternative like what you would have, or if I am not able to make myself something, I make sure I have the cocoa powder so that I can
Right.
put it in the shake, and do a lot of mental work as well, because I'm like, all right, why am I craving it? And those are the things that help to get to a deeper level of healing. Because when I start
Yes.
to figure out, all right, why am I craving the chocolate? Then my body, God starts pointing me to different areas in my life that really I need to work on, that were trauma points for me that needed healing. So it's really
Mm.
like a beautiful circle.
It is. It's wonderful. And once we start to gather information, it's a growth. So you don't see it as pain anymore because you know that you're growing. And you start, do you find that your spirituality, that your spiritual side tends to be so much stronger that it points you to whatever it is you need to be working on?
Yeah.
And if you need to bring something into your diet or into your life or into, it points you there, and it keeps on nudging you until you actually follow the directions. Mhm.
That's true.
Otherwise it knocks you sideways.
That's true. That is so true.
But maca, like I said, maca is another great superfood, and mood enhancer and so forth. Coconut oil. We use coconut oil as well in the recipes that we've done these 2 weeks. And coconut oil is another super food. And I don't know if you remember any of this, and I'm going to beat you if you don't remember.
Behind.
In ancient Sanskrit, they describe it as the tree that provides all you need to live. The tree that provides all you need to live, because the coconut has within it everything that the human body needs to live healthily. And this is why I came back to Jamaica. It's my coconut. Come here, you. Nice. So, oh, I didn't break into my jelly. Now that I'm talking about the coconut, let me just break into my jelly and put it in my glass. So I haven't got any straws, and this won't stand up on its own. Let me see. Uh, yeah, so let me just chop this. Just give me a minute. Let me chop the top, and then I can talk about it while I'm drinking the water. I love my jellies, and you know that I encouraged you all to have at least one jelly a day. Are you still doing that, Michelle?
Um,
What?
um, when I
I
can,
don't like
I
the
do.
sound of that one.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Remember the job thing. So
Yes,
it's not,
yes,
yeah, it's
yes,
not every day, but when as often as I can, because I just realized that
yes,
my uncle
yes.
actually starts selling them as well. So I'll be getting some regular supply because he has it as a part of his business now.
Ah, brilliant, brilliant. How is
Yeah.
he doing? You'll have to tell me when we come off the show how he's doing now.
Yes, yes,
Mm.
will do, will do. So I'll be
Yes,
getting on board. That's on my to-do list for next year.
right, right. So, but it's brilliant that he's actually going on that journey as well. So it will help you. You'll
Right,
have,
exactly.
yes, you'll have somebody to, you can do accountability together.
Right.
You account to him and he to you. Mm. Okay, all right. Here's my coconut water. It's amazing how much water is in these small coconuts. I always look at the small ones and I think, no, I don't know if I'm going to buy it, but it has lots and lots of water in it. Okay,
Have a
so
good.
cheers,
Yeah.
everyone.
Oh, that's a lot.
And there's still more in it. And look how small it looks.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
it's
good
still
deal.
not finished. There's still more water in it. So it's worth it.
Wow.
Mm. So, cheers.
Cheers.
Mm. So it's a shame I don't have any chocolate from last week, but we'll have some next week so we can labrish and yam and drink. So the coconut is another miracle food, very, very powerful, non toxic. Um, they call it drug. I don't like the word drug, but it's powerful, it's non toxic, it protects the body from viruses like harmful bacteria, yeast. Et cetera. It's seen as a natural antibiotic. It regulates the immune system, protects the body from inflammatory diseases like arthritis, asthma, autoimmune diseases, etc., etc., etc. It's a brilliant, brilliant food. Like the Sanskrits described it, it's the tree that gives you all you need to live. You don't, if you, I don't have time to go through all the benefits with this, but generally just realize that if you don't have any food,
Yeah.
um, use your coconuts. If you're
True.
down and things are a bit low and you want to, just get your coconuts. And the jelly, I haven't talked about the jelly yet. I'm going to do that in another lesson. I'm just focusing on the oil today because that's what we've been using the past couple of weeks, but it's an excellent food. And you remember, I don't know if you remember, I used to say in class, if someone gives you the option to either have a jelly coconut and you're on a desert island you're going to be on a desert island by yourself, either a partner or a jelly coconut, you have to be very careful what you choose.
Yes, that's a tough one. Yeah.
You can either die together
See,
or you can
jelly
live on your
coconut
own
saved
with
my life and get
coconuts.
another partner.
Okay. So that's it for that today. Where I've been through the recipe, and now I'm going to introduce you. Oh, we've gone 50 minutes, so I've got to be a little quick with this. We've been, Michelle, since last week. I introduced the idea of Taoism,
Okay.
and where I'm using to begin with on here, I'm using this book, The Tao of Sexology, the book of infinite wisdom. And it's about, well, let me just quickly go over the overview, because it's as much as I'm going to be able to do today. Um, People, you will see why I'm using this as a basis. There'll come a point where we are going to go into a private group to do it, because you're going to need to practice, not publicly, but we may not have to, but we'll see how we go. We just carry on until. But I'm just going to read this. So, Taoism is the oldest science of life. The ancients, they developed a system. They focus their energies on researching and can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm
Yes.
monitoring the battery, probably because my battery it's plugged in, but it's still going down. But I'm hearing you.
Okay. Okay. You just do what you need to. There's still
Right.
people around, I hope, listening. I hope they haven't all gone
I
to
hope
their
so.
afternoon dinner. Um, so they developed this system. Uh, the group formed a group and developed a system, detailed and scientific system of knowledge, which comprises many principles of food preparation, exercise, healing, sexology, etc. The system is called Taoism. Although Taoism is the most ancient system of knowledge recorded on earth, preceding even the Mesopotamians, the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians, Indians, Greece, all of these, it's preceding that. It is praised for surpassing modern knowledge by many in the forefront of the modern research. Um, the Tao of Sexology, sex is taught and practiced in accordance with the principles of Taoism and is a part of the living philosophy as Taoism. From the observation of the reproductive process, Taoists discovered that the sexual glands were endowed with God's power and and God's intelligence to organize life. They knew that God was life, that He was the life force that animated all living things, that He was the motor of processes, and that He was the intelligence responsible for life engineering and cellular self repair. Now, um, I'm trying not to read it verbatim. I'm taking out certain parts just so that you can understand get an overall understanding. Uh, Taoists hope to elevate self-healing to its fullest potential, to energize the whole body, to defy time. By following the Tao sexology, mankind will eventually incarnate God's nature to its fullest. In Taoism, the sexual organs and glands where energy and life power are concentrated and generated are referred to as a stove. This term underscores our dependence on sexual energy. We depend on the sexual gland to support our mental and physical functions, as we depend on the stove to cook food. Without a stove, nothing can be cooked or eaten, and life will end. Likewise, life will end when non functional sexual glands cause the mental and physical aspects of the body to become non functional. And I believe that this is so very important that we understand this because, it goes on to tell us that in many ways, um, sex is looked upon as something negative and
Yeah.
shows us how we're losing out on having that sort of mentality about it because we're not using a very, very important energy that we've been given.
Mm.
Um, so the sexual glands produce hormones described as a fire, which help rejuvenate cells and tissues. If the sexual glands function improperly, cell tissue generation and mental physical performance fall. When the mental and physical aspects of the body become tired, depressed, or negative, more problems or diseases are created. Then the aging process begins. All of these problems can be prevented or corrected by properly functioning sexual organs. When the machinery of rejuvenation is activated through the practice of Taoist sexology, aging can be prevented. Did you hear what I said?
Mm.
Aging can be prevented. So, for those people who are looking for the elixir of life, the fountain of youth, the fountain of youth can be found. And it says, and when aging is prevented, death is prevented. I would like to kind of, well, we will see as we go along. The age-old search for the fountain of youth may end here, for Taoists believe that immortality can be attained by transforming the physical body through continuous rejuvenation. Yeah. So there is a lot there in this practice. I'm not going to read through. I'm just going to pick out some bits that I believe are relevant so that we can understand. It says because human beings have both physical instincts and hold on, stifling the sexual desires. You need to go up a bit more. I need to go to not only is the Tao sexology a fountain of youth, but it also is a refreshing solution that reconciles the common dilemma between respondents to one's sexual desires and devotion to one's spiritual aspirations. On one hand, some social influences promote the release of sexual instincts at the animalistic level only. On the other hand, many religions stifle or denounce sexual activity to promote spirituality. Release of sexual desires results in many problems, such as venereal diseases. Stifling of sexual desires leaves people unsatisfied, for they are not bodiless spirits as long as they live on earth. Neither approach satisfies people's needs because human beings have both physical instincts and spiritual aspirations. Um, any comments so far?
My line chipped out a bit.
Hmm?
Yeah, I chipped out a bit. Could you repeat the
Oh,
last sentence?
right.
I heard
What
I
is
heard about
basically
stifling. Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, what it's basically saying is that we have to learn to incorporate the energies that we have, and the sexual energy is one of the most powerful energies that we do have, and we can actually use it to enhance all aspects of our lives if we
Mm-hmm.
learn how to apply it properly. So
Right.
we're not, yeah, and
And if
go ahead.
I think if I'm to put it within my context of a faith-based context, um, and to put it for persons who some persons may be Bible believing or not Bible believing, but if I'm to put it within my context, you see where it is the highest level of creativity, as stated even in the scriptures, because this is what promotes life, as the Bible would say, be fruitful and multiply. So if this is what
Absolutely,
promotes life, it therefore means that it is the creative force behind everything else that we do, whether it is wealth creation, whether it is creating our overall health and well-being. The thing is how we
absolutely,
manage it. And I think this is why even it goes ties in back to what you were talking about with women and our reproductive health
yes,
and being emotional and all of that stuff. It all ties in with that. How
absolutely,
do we
absolutely.
manage this, and how do we manage our emotions and manage our lives? And the more we understand it for what it is that is God's greatest gift to us, it will help us to organize our lives in a far better way, I think.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what he's putting across here. And he's saying that on the one hand, there are the extremes, the spiritual extremes, and on the other hand, there are the other extremes where people use sex all for the wrong reasons.
Right.
But we need to appreciate for what it is. Like you say, it's a creativity. It's our life creativity, and we need to. Nobody really teaches us that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
nobody teaches us about that. We just kind of pick up bits of information as we're growing up, and we're taught to sort of, cringe when it comes to discussing anything to do with that. But it's the most important thing in our life. It's the most, like I say, it is, the reproductive process is procreation. It's that energy. It has got to be so strong that it brings life into the world.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so this is looking at teaching us how to appreciate that energy, how to use it, how to direct it to enhance the other aspects of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And they have um, uh, looking at things like balance and diet and healing art and um, mastering the whole um, energy, sexual energy, to bring success into your life. Understanding the philosophy, using it to revitalize, using it so it's allowing it to branch out into all aspects of your life and help you to build your life, build your energy, so that you can live that have that equilibrium in all aspects of life. So this is what this is all about. I'm not going to read any more of that, of the overview, because next week I'm going to introduce the next bit where we start actually, looking at the background of this philosophy. But I think it's absolutely fascinating, and
Mhm.
it teaches you how to do this. Yeah, this
Mhm.
actually teaches you as we go through it how to do it, how to respect the male and the female energy, how to understand what's going on in our bodies and why we need to be aware so that we can act on it. It's brilliant. So
Mhm.
do join me again next week, and I'm going to try and make it a little shorter so that we don't go over the 50 minutes. I'm told that 50 minutes is about as much as we really need to do this,
Right.
unless I split it into two pieces. Could do
Yes.
that, actually. I could let the lesson go on where it's needed and then split the whole thing into two separate pieces and upload it as that. I may do that.
That's a possibility, right? Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here and just refamiliarizing. You know, the other day I was looking at a video, and you remember when you started to sing in class, when you stood up in class and you were
Yes.
singing? Yeah, I found that video.
Yes. Yes. I love to sing, guys.
Those days were fun, though. They were fun.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
fun. Thank you so
Mm.
much for having me. Really good refresher, good being here, good reminder, good, reconnection. And I really appreciate it.
Great, my pleasure, my pleasure. God bless you, and do keep. Well, I know you're keeping in touch, so I'm not going to have to ask you.
Definitely. Will do. Will do. Okay.
All
Bless
right.
you. Okay. Bye bye.
Okay, my darling. You take care. Bless you.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, everyone, I am closing today. I know I haven't done the meditation, but I'm going to make up for that next week because we've gone over quite a bit today. So we will do our meditation next week. Thank you for tuning in and for going the distance with me today. And I look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place. And like I said, you can go to Instagram, link in bio, and click on that, and you will see the different things that you can choose to buy. The ebooks, which are very reasonable. You can go to my Sickness to Success site to learn more, and you can even book a chat with me to talk about anything that you would like to clarify. And this is going live on YouTube, and the recording is going to be on YouTube also. So go and subscribe and like and everything that you do, and I will see you next week. Okay, you take care. God bless you.